Okay. Um, I believe that in these tough days, everyone can see a clinic, a webinar, I believe more than one every day. So I already had since I'm home, let's say 20 days, I had some like 12 or 13 webinar where I was the guy in charge. So I believe that in this moment, we need to a little bit to be more concrete, and you all can now to have access to information is the easiest thing in the world. With just a click on your laptop, you can see all the pick and rolls from best player of all times. And I believe that maybe to move the topics a little bit in a different direction can be, I hope, more interesting. I don't come here with the feeling that say that whatever I will say, you're gonna agree, because this is not my goal. I was on the other end of the laptop when I started coaching, and I believe all the clinics I attended, there was no coronavirus at that time, so we could go and attend at the clinic, but that was a huge part of my individual development. And my goal is to tell you what I do, to provoke a discussion, and to have you think, and maybe you can get something back to me, because improvement is out there for everybody. And so please feel free to join the discussion, ask questions, disagree. There's no problem at all. I'm open. So the topic is how to gain time. In the last years, the schedule of European international basketball changed. It's time became an opponent, because you have more games, you have less time to, for example, prepare your team, to build team culture, to develop your players, to deliver a message. You're like in the washing machine, and I have the feeling that you're always short. Oh, you prepare a big game, you do this, that, and then I don't have the time to do this. Or even worse, maybe my players can get to that point because they are already tired. I will never forget one small story when I got to Partizan, to Belgrade, and I have amazing stuff. And my assistant, at a certain point, we were trying to develop a new system, and it didn't pass through so easy. And I was really disappointed. And when I'm disappointed, I always put myself also in the evaluation process. Did I choose the right word? Did I use the right, did I do it in the right way? And my assistant took a glass full of water with the left hand, and with the right hand took a bottle full of water. So he came to me, water break in the practice. So he took the water, he said, this is the team, these are our players. The bottle is what you want to explain them. And he started pouring water in the full glass of water. They don't get it. There's no room. So the software of the players are different, but everybody has a limit. You are lucky they have 1 tera, they have 1 giga. Some of them are like a Commodore 64. They don't get all what you have to give them. And this thing opened my eyes. It's very important that you have a process where you try to gain time to be more efficient in how you do the things. I believe it happens to everybody that to come to a game and he said, I hope that they will not run that play because I didn't have time to show it to my team. It happens, but this should not be the way we do it. We should know that what we are doing was the right thing, and knowing that you cannot cover everything. So to gain time, you need to have, I say, 4 main things. First, you have to master communication. You don't have 20 minutes to explain one thing that should be explained in 30 seconds. And sometimes it happens that you go long, but all this thing doesn't help you. So you need to work on your communication. And believe me, every player has a different way to interact, to communicate with him. Every player is totally different, totally different. So the second thing, and the order I'm gonna give you, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, is A, B, C, D. It's something that you will choose the right order because it depends on you. The second thing, because at the end of the day, what you're gonna ask something more from your players in a different way. So you need to build mutual trust. And that means that goes also with the communication. When you talk, who's on the other end should listen. Not hear, listen. It's very, very important. How? You have to be clear, you have to be straight, and you have to be honest. Sometimes you have to tell things that are not always comfortable to hear, but you have to say them. The third thing that is very important to me is have clear priorities. In what are you doing? Clear priorities. And when I say that, I have 3 pillars. First, I want to have a philosophy of what I'm doing. Then I move to the strategy, and then I go to tactics. You cannot put tactics over everything. It's something that coaches we do. But if you use 90% of the software of your players on tactics, you won't have all the things you need to win game because X and O's are extremely important. But without the rest, without a team fighting, playing together, running, jumping, you cannot win games. So I said one more time, philosophy, strategy, and tactics. So philosophy basically is how you're gonna do the things. So it's the owner's manual. You're building the framework of thinking. The strategy is the master plan, and the tactics are the tools that you're gonna use. And the fourth thing that is equal important is have a purpose in whatever you do. You should have a purpose in everything you propose to your team, in a drill, in a warm-up, in a video, in a meeting, and the players should have a purpose on whatever they do on the court. Many times I go to my players, how are you? Okay, huh? Before the practice, okay, and said, what is your goal for today? First times, panic. My goal is to have a good practice. And I said, it's not enough. Everybody has the same goal. Not everybody. Let's say we hope that everybody has the same goal. So one way to gain time is you have to have a purpose, a goal in a specific area of your game. So today I want to work on the pass with the left hand of the pick and roll because I'm not good in that. So you're having purpose. I cannot, as a coach that day, because maybe it's 2 days before the game, I cannot coach you individually because we have things to do. But while I'm building my game plan, you have a purpose, individual goal that doesn't go against the game plan, but will shorten the time a lot in your development. So now I was a little generic, and now let's go in the core of what I think in how to gain time. What are the tools of winning time? First of all, we play 5-on-5. The game that is the ultimate judge of our work is 5-on-5. So after many years where I spent so much energy in having nice drills, this rotation, I cut this in playing as much as I can 5-on-5 because I saw that this helps the player to drag and drop what we are doing in practice into a game. But don't take me wrong. It happens, and there are coaches that to avoid all the problems, goes on practice, take the ball, jump ball, 45 minutes, 5-on-5, no comment, no demands. Players are happy, coach is not fighting. No, this is not playing 5-on-5. This is not a practice. This is not something efficient. There are many ways to develop a team practice with demands and playing 5-on-5 as the key thing. So when I started, let's say 10 years ago, I loved my team play the right way, spacing, execution, all this thing. So I was the king of 5-on-0 and was amazing. 5-on-0, you never make a mistake or very few times. Every play works. Then you got the game, it's not like this. So one thing that I cut as much as I can, 5-on-0. And I'm telling you, it's not enough yet. So for example, I need to put a new play. I show 2 courts, 5-on-0 each team, and then we play 5-on-5. And I go through the correction, the adjustments, and the teaching through 5-on-5. So I play 5-on-5 with I always play with competition. So there are always points, fouls, and everything. But I cut all the minutes of stupid 5-on-0 that players get bored. Players hate 5-on-0. Players hate 5-on-0. Coaches love 5-on-0 because we are counter-fleet. So it's a way to have control of the situation. Do this, do that. So I don't say I don't do it. I do it. I do it. But I'm trying to do it in a more efficient way. I make you an example. So with 5-on-5, you can practice everything. You can have offense, defense, transition, fast break. It just depends on what are the rules of your 5-on-5. I have many different segments. So for example, one thing that I love to build team culture without making hours of talking videos is we play 5-on-5 to 7 points. And The points are like, the game is called with our plays or whatever. You can choose whatever. So you can get your points only in this way. I call this 5-on-5 make and stop. White team plays offense, score a 3-point shot, then goes on defense. If they defend, their 3-point that score is valid. If the black team scores a 2-point, they lose the 3 points, and now the black team can have, if they defend, the 2 points they score. So this 7 points game could last 20 minutes, could be a war, because every possession is linked. And basically it's the same thing that happens when you play the game. Another way, very stupid way, sometimes you have the team that is a little lazy, and you see that we are entering in the plays slower. So we start the plays half court. We are not good in transition. We are not good in the right setup early in the shot clock. So we play 5-on-5. And the whole team that goes on offense should cross the half court line within 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, 3 seconds, depends on your team, after they get the possession. Believe me, it happens. You think it's easy? No, because the other team is not stupid. They will start to press. So you need to be sharp and crisp mentally to make this. And at the beginning, when you propose this 5-on-5, special 5-on-5, what will happen? They're going to have turnovers. Just because one player, lazy big guy, or one guy that is not focused enough, will be late to cross the half court. And we are playing game. The team that wins force the other team to run. It's always like this, always a winner, always a loser. Your team is lazy in playing off ball. So 5 years ago, I would tell you, I will make the video. You see here, we are standing in the corner. We are not playing off ball. We have to play off ball. We have to play off ball. Then you are lucky. They are going to hear what you say. They're going to listen. They're going to do it. You're not lucky. You have to say it again. And I'm losing time. I'm losing time for more important thing. So why I make a very, so we have many plays, okay, with pick and roll. So I say, today, guys, we don't change anything. It's a game 2-11. It's a quarter with bonus, whatever. All our pick and rolls we switch them into handoffs or DHO. So basically you cannot use dribble, but you have to work to set up the defense, to read if they deny you, replace. It's a small thing. All 5 players has to move. Just without changing anything. All the pick and rolls are becoming handoffs. It looks stupid, but believe me, it works. Another thing, you need to develop inside game. Okay. Our make and stop, whatever game, whatever the way you want to count, the game is that you cannot shoot the ball before the ball goes inside. This doesn't mean that the player that catch the ball inside will finish. This doesn't mean so. But the ball should go in. It's like in a game. Then from that, we're going to see how to develop the advantage. Another thing that I love when I want to really push the competition high, and I cannot play because maybe it's 2 days before the game. So I say we play until one of the 2 teams make this series. score, stop, score, or stop, score, stop. So the game could go 15 minutes because nobody's able to put 3 effective plays together. And you know better than me, when you put 3 effective plays in a row, you're making a run in any level you play. So what is my goal? Repetition is something very important. You have to repeat to learn the things. But I'm fighting passive repetition with active repetition. I believe the passive repetition is good when you work with individual coach, players development coach, where you need to use your time to open to this coach that I want to do this move, that move, and you need repetition where you feel that you are building the new move, the new shot, or whatever. We don't have time to have 5-on-0, this passive repetition, 30 minutes, and then play for another 30 minutes. I need 3 minutes of 5-on-0, and then 40 minutes of playing, because it's an active repetition. And then you're gonna see if what you're proposing is working, is fitting your team. Every year, I believe that I throw in the garbage between 20 and 30 plays that I thought maybe I prepared for months in the summer. This is a perfect situation for my team. And after 3 practices, you see they don't call it, they don't like it, it's not working in practice. Why should it work in a game? Because it works 5-on-0? No, it's not like this. Any questions so far?
Yeah. Okay.
You should stop me, Nena.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so sorry. We received a lot of questions. Can we just repeat the starting 4 rules? I know. Can I say rules? You
No.
said at the
no.
starting 4.
Okay, I would say the 4 things that are very important.
Okay, so you said master communication.
Master communication, because it's the most important thing.
Okay.
I learned that with my generation, so I was taught by my parents that when they talk, I shut the fuck up and I listen. I'm trying to do this with my kids. They don't listen. The world is changing. Society is changing. The way people want to communicate is different. So we need to adjust. So now it's very, very important. I would say it's even more important to focus on how to deliver the message over the real message. Because sometimes you have the best message to deliver to a player. It's perfect, it's accurate, it's important, it's taking care of all the things, but it doesn't pass through because you are sending the message, delivering the message with the wrong tools. And the door is locked there. You knock at the door, nobody's opening.
Can you give us an example? Can you give us an example you had in your career that you couldn't manage to find at the beginning, to find a solution in order to send that message to the certain player or to your assistant coach?
Many times it happens to us that because we invest so much time in explaining one thing to a player, and we truly believe that we did whatever we could to make him do the right thing. Mm-hmm. It comes to the game, and after 3 minutes, he's doing the wrong thing, and you are, what the fuck, why? So, and you go there and you go, you are doing this. No, he will close the communication. Instead of said that, you have to say what you should do. Always have a positive way of delivering the message. This is basic. The upgrade is always say the things in a way that the player should be curious to listen. And if you can, always come to an end where you are doing this to help him.
Great.
To help his game, to help his moment, to give him a push. You need them to trust you. This is the second pillar.
Yeah.
But when I say gain some time, I thought, in the past, a group of players in a team would stay together in the 80s, 5-6 years. Then it becomes every time shorter. Now we are lucky if from one season to the other, we have 30-20% of the players back. So basically every year is something new. So we have to win time on that too. We don't have this luck to have players that come back with the same, they know you, you know them. And I love when a new player comes in a team and the two veterans goes to him and said, listen, guy, we do business here like this. And in 3 minutes, they explain him how we do businesses in this team. This doesn't happen because you don't have this luck, basically. And so it's extremely important that they understand that you are trying to help them, to help their game before you try to help the team. So the way it should be is, I make you better, so I will make my team better. If you start with the goal of making the team better, they will not listen to you, or they will not buy in.
Yeah.
It's very simple. So the same thing, the second thing is build mutual trust, and you have to be clear, straight, honest. Sometimes, for example, one thing that slows down every process. So I know many coaches, when they try to hire a player, to convince a player to come to play, you're going to play 25, 28 minutes at that position. I never say that, because basically I don't know how much you're going to play. Because if you, stupid example, you fought with your wife, you are coming 7 days in a practice with wrong body language and you're not performing, why I should play you 28 minutes? Because I told you this summer that you're going to play 28 minutes. But if I told you, and the day you're going to play 24, you're going to come to me and said, coach, why? So what I promised to my players, that I see you in this role, that role, I expect this from you. I ask you 3 things that I'm going to have from you every day in practice. And I ask this to write it down on a paper. Tell me 3 things that me, coaching staff, and your teammates are going to have from you in every practice, and 3 things we're going to have from you on a game day. That's it. This is the way you are straight, you build trust. Because never lie. The worst thing you can do is lie to a player. And sometimes you are not lying, but you are delivering the message wrong, and they feel that you're lying. It happens. Third thing, have clear priorities. And to know what is important, what is the most important thing. So what are the rules of this team? We want to win games, how? Scoring 120 points, playing defense, out-rebounding other team, slowing, I don't know, you choose. And to have clear priorities, you need to have a philosophy that is basically the owner's manual, how we're going to do the things, a strategy, and the last thing is tactics. You cannot put tactics over strategy or over philosophy. And the fourth pillar, is have always a purpose. You as a coach enforce your players to have a purpose anytime they come to the gym. Clear?
Yeah.
Did I answer?
Crystal clear. Yeah, thank you, coach. Okay, Coach Ferry is asking you, do you play a lot of games where your players can play anything, or do you like to be more specific on specific sets that you want to run? I think
what do you think? What do you think? If you see,
yeah, I know the answer, but okay.
No, very important to random is not good. Too tight is not good. So you need to find a balance. The question is interesting, and I tell you what I do. Every 10 days, 8 days, 9 days, 12 days, it depends. When I see the team needs, when I was very demanding, I was biting, I squeeze them, I do this thing. So I build 2 teams of 7. If you have 12 players, 2 teams of 6. I use one part of the practice to do this. I give one board to the point guard or the veteran in one team, another board to the other one, and I say, now you're going to play a quarter, this last quarter of a game. White team 64, white team, black team 60. Bonus after 4 minutes. You call the plays, you have the timeouts, you have 3 timeouts left, and that's it. And I play this, and I stay and I write my paper, my notes. And like this, I want them to coach themselves. I see what they do, I see what they call, I see the body language, I see who can be a leader and who can help to be second leader, who has good reads, who needs help. This is the way I do it, and players like it. And sometimes to step aside and to watch your team is very important, because we easily got polluted by our emotions.
Great. Okay, Coach Francesco is asking you, do you have any rules to choose your 5-on-5 teams during everyday practice? And do you keep the same team for the wild practice?
No. What I do it 5-on-5. I don't, if I like it, I let 2 days in a row to have the same squads, especially if one team was better the day before. I want to see the reaction. But this is very related to how you build a roster. I always want to build a roster with players that can play at least 2 positions. 3 is better. So to me, changing and mixing the teams is easier.
Okay. Is it related also on the opponent you are going to face the next game, or doesn't have nothing to do with that? Like starting 5 against our next opponent is going to be...
Okay, it's a specific question. I have to give you a specific answer. It means that, so there are parts of practice where you are going to go through the opponent's play. You're going to choose your game, build your game plan, and try defense on that coming off, on that post up, that pick and roll. That in that situation could be useful, that you have at least one player that is similar to the skills or the way of playing to the opponents. Because for example, you have to play pick and roll against a great shooter. And if the player that is running the pick and roll is a non-shooter, won't be effective.
Yeah.
It won't be effective. So you're going to lose time, and the goal is to win time.
Definitely. Okay, thank you, Coach. Okay, we can go forward.
Okay.
No questions.
So the last thing I was telling you, I don't like passive repetition. I like active repetition. So I want to have, my goal is to have more game situation. I still do 3-on-3 for the offense. Don't like to do 4-on-4 for the offense, because it's the spacing is too good. And then when you play 5-on-5, you see why we're not having the spacing, because we play 3-on-3. So I like to do 3-on-3 breakdowns of our sets. But usually I condense this in the beginning of the practice. I had to tell you how I changed the way of practicing. For example, when you're in a big city, having 2 practices means 2 hours in the car, because you go 4 times back and forth, 2 showers, 2 warm up, 2 stretching. I see a lot of waste of time. When you are in a small village and everybody in 10 minutes is at the gym, you can do whatever you want. Or maybe you're traveling a lot and you want to give, I make this example. This year, out of the first 12 games, we had 11 road games, okay? 11 road games. And basically after the 5th road game, we were drunk. We didn't know what was our name. And so I had to adjust my practice plan. So I use sometimes in the season, NBA style of practice. So from 12 to 4, and you do everything you need. You do conditioning, you do weights, you do individuals, you do the team practice. Because like this, at 4 o'clock, they could sleep in the morning and rest. And at 4 o'clock, you're done with everything. I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it. Sometimes you need the best and the strongest skill for a coach nowadays is be able to adjust. You need your team to be fresh. I will never forget. I went to the Golden State Warriors 2 years ago to see the preseason. They were very kind, let me in on everything. I went in Steve Kerr's office, and on the board, it was written huge letters, capital letters, keep them fresh. NBA, they had to win the title, everything. But it's not so different here. So we have to keep them fresh. But still, we need to develop the team. We need to make them work. So sometimes you need to trim from your plans what you can do and what you can do. So I use this practice, and I have a rule. So practice at 5. Everybody should be in the gym and do individuals 45 minutes before the starting of the practice. They can do it individually with coaches. They can do it with small groups, wings, guards, bigs. Okay. You have a veteran. This 45 minutes should be dedicated for conditioning stuff, for core stability, for stretching, because he needs more time. So the package is 20 minutes max. And like this, everybody can do the thing. So when I start the practice, and I'm there, but I don't, I let the player have a purpose with assistant coach, because I want the best way to develop a player that he opens up. He will never say to the head coach, I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to dribble with the left and shoot a runner, a floater with the right. I make a stupid example, because the player doesn't want to open to the head coach, the one that decides how much he's going to play. So I want this with assistant coach. Every assistant coach has a group he's responsible of a group of players, and they have to talk to him to open. And this is like you're like a Zen master. You're working every day, slowly but very deep. Then when I start, the team is already ready. We're working for at least 25, 30 minutes. So when I start, another way to win time, whatever I propose in the warm-up is related to the topic of the day. You know, years ago, I was watching a practice of Dino Meneghin and Bob McAdoo, Mike D'Antoni. Basically, the warm-up was up and down, some shots, some shooting competition. And I asked Coach Dan Peterson, and he was great because he said, I don't want to bust the balls of my players in warm-up. True. But I need that warm-up because my players are not fully refined yet. So I need to help them to get to a point. So the warm-up is related to what we are gonna develop in the practice. Then in 30 minutes, going from 0 speed to 80, 90%, I do whatever I need. 2-on-2 pick and roll, 1-on-1 closeout, 3-on-3 breakdowns, 4-on-4 defense. And then when max 35 minutes, I'm ready to go 5-on-5. This is another way to win some time because I always have dedicated in my practice a good part in game situations. Any questions?
Yeah. Coach Alexander from Belgrade is asking you how you managed to improve box out segment of your game. Is it during the 5-against-5 situation? Are you doing it in any different way? Do you have any tricky situation during 5-on-5? How you handle this kind of this segment of your game?
Okay, you should ask him if he's a fan of Red Star. He has to pay for the answer. If he's a fan of Partizan, I can answer easily.
Okay, I think he's just let me check. He's a Partizan fan. If he's not a Partizan fan, he's gonna become a Partizan fan.
When it comes to money, eh? Okay. Different ways to approach the problem. First of all, you have to have a philosophy. And the philosophy is, for me, I believe that rebounding in nowadays basketball is equal to playing defense or having a good offense. So basically, I say to my team, you win rebounds, you win the game. So this is the philosophy. So when they don't box out well, they already know, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Second thing, you can handle this giving more importance in 5-on-5 to the box out. So every offensive rebound, you have -1 in the score. You have -2. You have 10 push-ups or whatever. Don't expect that box out drills will help you so much. I do these things. I do 2 things, basically. One thing is, in a warm-up, I put a situation where I emphasize the rebounding situation, and I'm going to show you this situation with the board. Or second, I put 5 players on the 3-point line, a team, and I put 5 players inside the paint, the defensive box out. I throw the ball on the board, I shoot the ball, and it's a war. It's a war. So it's a very specific box out situation with speed and distance. So I put them in a disadvantaged situation because it's always hard to box out a player that is coming from the weak side. And basically nobody knows where the ball will go. And then if the opponent team gets the rebound, the team that allows this is out and another team enters. So basically you win points scoring on offensive rebound.
Okay.
Or as a warm-up, I do this drill. I call it 3-on-2, box out. And you see? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm coming. Okay, you see? So 5 players. And I use the player that is like from the 5 I'm going to play later. Okay. Mm-hmm. So 1, his defender. 2 under the basket, like floppy action with no defender. Okay.
Yeah.
And here, big with his defender. Okay. Perfect. So this player has no defense. 2 players has defense. Live, coming off, curl, pass, help. Because this is the only player that can help. Can help a little bit the big, and can help from top. Slide, pass, shot.
Right.
Okay. And then this player, I have 3 players fighting for the rebound, going 3-on-2. This player, 1 and B, big, are the defender, and all the other 3, plus the guard that went to curl, goes on offense. 3-on-2 from weak side the box out, because the shot is from here, and I have a big, and I want the guard that has no individual task to help for the box out of the big. Very stupid, but it's something to help the team.
Yeah.
It works, and it's not very demanding mentally. It's at the beginning of the practice. You are underlining what you want without being too demanding.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Okay, we have a Coach Bogdan who would like to ask you, I believe, a few questions. So, Bogi, please free to ask.
First, Coach, thank you for spending time sharing your philosophy, strategy, and tactique, as you said, to us. And second, I will use this opportunity to congratulate you on all results, because a lot of people with this situation count like it's a winning season already now. So I will congratulate you for that. And I'll have 2 questions for you. One is on the topic about how to win the time. I will ask you if you can share the secret how many video is helping you to win the time, and how many video meetings and which ones you are having before each game with the players as a team group and individually, and also after the game. Does your video kind of change compared to win or lose, or you are keeping the same system? For example, I know certain coaches that after lose game video will be longer as a kind of punishment for the results. So will you, how is that in your system? And second one, it's more about pick and roll spacing or spacing in general. I noticed, and to be frankly honest, spoke with some of the players. I see that during pick and roll game and low post game, a lot of your guys are strictly on the 3-point line. That they are not 1 step behind or 2 steps behind the 3-point line to catch the ball on the hop and then attack. Is it something part of your philosophy or idea? And do you teach them that? Because of a lot of teams, coaches or players are 1 step behind the 3-point line, running into the pass and then shooting or attacking close out. Is that part of your opinion and philosophy, and how you teach that habit that they go step forward or step backward and not, as I heard, call themselves that player without the ball if he's too away from the 3-point line in that case?
Okay, about the video, my nature says that I want to do 10 times more. My assistant coach, Vlado and Atso, are coming to me and say, like Dikembe Mutombo, that's too much. And I listen to them. No, it's a joke, but it's half of a joke. It depends. It depends on the moment. It depends how tired is the team. I did everything. The rules are to prepare a game. We do game on Sunday. The videos should not go more than 7 minutes of clips. So they have to put all the topics in 7 minutes, because 7 minutes is equal to 12, 14, max 15 talking. And I don't want ever to go more than 15 minutes. You lose the concentration, ever. So basically we do for each game, we do 2 videos, one with the tactical thing, the plays, the situation, and that is Friday, 7 minutes, plus me talking 5-6 minutes. And before the game, if we play home, 1 hour and 40 minutes before the game, we game the locker room. Everybody is casual dressed, no uniforms. They have their routine, so I don't want to mess their routine. But we watch reminders, means a condensed version of what we saw, and all the team, all the players, or most of the players with their individual skills, and max 7 minutes. And this, I don't talk before the game. Post game is very, very specific. It happens that we lose a bad game, and I show them the whole game, every play. And after 20 minutes, you see them moving on the chair, pain in the ass, pain in the back, but I had to stay there because we all deserve that. And sometimes I don't do post game because I don't have time. And we do a lot individual video. You can do it with WhatsApp, with an iPad on the court, 5 clips with the players, but I do this with the assistant coaches. They have to do it with their players because I want that they open up. And so I stay, so we talk, show him this, show him that, we talk, we decide what to see, but it's something that the moment and how and the tone of the discussion is something that I delegate, totally delegate to my assistant coaches. And video is important, but it's not a substitute of the court. And I hope that I understood. I answered the first question. You need anything else about videos?
Thanks.
The second thing, my goal is to be effective. Why to send the player 7 meters from the basket if he cannot shoot from 7 meters on spacing? I want players that are active receivers, that whenever they catch the ball, they can do something on offense. Because my system, our system is we want to build an advantage as soon as possible, and then we want to use that advantage. This doesn't mean that we are going to use that advantage with the player that is building the advantage. So the other players should play with this. I always have some problems with NBA players, okay, or players coming from the United States, when they lift even 2 steps over the 3-point line just to stretch the floor. But the difference is, in the NBA, when you beat your man, worst case scenario, you're going to have 1 help to read. In Europe, when you beat your man, you're going to have help to read 3 or 4 players. Rotation, extra rotation, third rotation. So I believe that spacing is the most important thing. But I tell you that to me, the even more important thing is space and re-space. Because, for example, everybody is able to space on a pick and roll. Not many teams are able to space on a pick and roll where they go under. And basically, whatever you did is wrong. You have to adjust and do like you were weak side and now you come ball side. So spacing, respace is a continuous thing. I consider spacing like a human being. It's alive. It's always adjusting. It's always there. It's always there. Maybe I can show you a nice video because I made this 1 second.
Okay.
And if it's not okay, it's still okay, okay?
Definitely, coach.
Let me see. Yes. Eccolo qua. Be patient, guys. Eh? Don't be mad on me. Eccolo qua.
I'm going to use this situation just to say that we are very sorry for all those coaches that are not in the group right now, because we have only 100.
You don't need to apologize now. They cannot hear since they're not.
Yeah. Smart guy. You're a smart guy, huh? Aren't you?
Okay, guys, look here. Do you see?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take that. Okay, so when I talk about spacing and respacing, one very important thing that I say to my players to make them buy in is it's not enough that you see the ball. The ball must see you. Look at these three clips, three very important clips. So it's a transition. We attack the baseline. So spacing in transition. The player with the ball takes the baseline, and look number 7, because now he remembers our demands is the ball must see you. Now the ball doesn't see him. Look this. He's running like crazy in that corner, like crazy, because red alert, the ball must see you. This play, it's even better. This is a big play in the final of the Serbian Cup, in a very clutch moment, okay? And it's a play so simple, but not simple for everybody. Okay, so the player in the left corner is behind the ball. Now it's a pick and roll, and he should lift, but he remembers very clearly that I ask him, okay, the ball must see you. Look him, focus on the player in the left corner. This is space and respace. Very, very, very important. Look the next clip. Okay, pick and roll, defense goes in a soft edge, okay, and we release the ball. So the player on the Zagorac, the player on left elbow, extension on the elbow, could be open, but if he doesn't move one step lateral, he will be an easy target for the rotation. It's just that half step creates him an open shot, and this is his range, and an easy pass to another open player. Last, very important, space and respace. Single top pick and roll, okay? So this is experienced, smart, dribbles on the left to build the right spacing. They go under. Look the two players on the weak side. As soon as they see the rescreen, so the player on the baseline is basically the player that is making this basket without him scoring, because very strong and quick lift behind the ball, player on the baseline dragging a help, easy layup. This is spacing on pick and roll, respacing. Okay?
Great, coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, coach. And for me, good luck if season ends, but continue, sir.
Now the good luck is to stay healthy. The rest we'll see.
Okay, we have several questions. Coach Luca Bassin is asking you, did you ever use 5 against 6? I mean, Luca, if you want to ask this directly to our coach, please feel free to turn on your mic.
You fall asleep.
Yeah. However, the question is, did you ever use 5 against 6 with 6 defenders in order to make it a little bit more difficult to
Yes, I use it. I use it, but I don't like it because the player understands this like a drill. And whenever you do drill, you don't play competitive. Okay. Because the player will say, but I never play against. So I prefer to do 6-on-6, full court, no dribble.
Okay.
Bigs against small, or to warm up and to make them move without the ball, or even I say 6-against-6, full court, only bounce pass. It's just a thing that you add, and they have to do it. But 5-against-6, I use it when I was building zone offense, but I don't have that time anymore.
Okay.
I hope that I answered.
Okay, Coach Dan, prego. Coach Dan is asking you, other than 5-against-0, can you give us some example of other situations you changed in order to win time in practice or in video meetings or somewhere else?
Yes, that was, I have here 1, 2, 3 more things to say about winning times, and then it's over. We all agree that offense is action and defense is reaction, right?
Yeah.
And my point is, I want to be always 1, if I can, 2 steps ahead of the defense when I play offense. So one thing that is very important to me is having a very wide playbook. When I say wide, 100, 120 situation. That to me is wide. On the other end, we all said when young Americans come overseas, they don't know plays. They don't remember plays. And we got mad. Oh, he can remember only 2 plays. But our goal is 100 because we want to win titles. We want to win games. So I went to the States, and the same player, the same exact player on an NBA Summer League roster remembers 50 plays. Same player that in Europe cannot remember more than 3 plays. So I say, there is any virus, Corona 5 virus over the Atlantic, or we are doing something wrong. And then I use this example to my players that our offensive system is like Lego. Who has kids bought package of Lego where you buy a box, then you have small bricks, white bricks, yellow bricks, green bricks, red bricks, black bricks. And basically from the same box, you can build a boat, a car, a house, and a helicopter. But the bricks are the same. You just combine them differently. So one way to win and gain time is to have the Lego system, how you propose your game plan. Instead of having 50 different plays, you have 5 series with millions of options. Can somebody tell me how many options you can have from a zipper entry? The number?
A lot.
If anybody has the idea? I just count 90. I was able to write to 90 options. So the Lego system means that you are making a system that every player can remember, even the player that is not very good in that. The Lego system, you are helping your team to handle your playbook. Stop. Very important thing. Players don't remember more than 10 plays, even the most experienced players. When I coach Gianluca Basile in Cantu, He was coming from Barcelona. Xavi, that is a master, has a playbook, like a book like this, was like 500 plays. 500, I'm not joking. Like this, eh? And I said, Bazo, how can you remember all this? He doesn't speak too much. I said, we don't remember.
He was honest.
Was honest. So basically, it's all the same soup, but you have to have series to help them. And from a zipper, you can have zipper with the 4, pick and roll with the 5, zipper with the 5, pick and roll with the 4, zipper with the 4, pick and roll with the 5. The 4 can go in the same corner, opposite corner, baseline, or behind the ball. You understand that with the same play, we already have 6 options, just like this. And to play, it's very important how you choose, how you make the play calls. And this is something that I understood. It's very important to have logic and rational play calls, because if for every option you have a totally different call, you're going to use the software of your players in remembering the call and not knowing how to play. So first you call the series, zipper series. Then you call zipper 5, means that it's a pick and roll with a 5. And then you can have zipper 5 side, means that the 4-man goes opposite corner. Zipper 5 up, the 4 goes up. I make an example. And like this, you save kilobytes of your players. Very, very important. Another way to win time and to be effective. The defensive system should be organic. What I mean, it's very hard if you want to, when the ball is on 45, after a floppy action, for example, players catch the ball on 45. If you want to force baseline, and don't take me wrong, it's totally acceptable to force the ball baseline. But then your main defense on pick and roll is hard hedge. It will take more time because 2 players are not doing an organic thing. 1 player is forcing to the baseline, the guard, and the big guy is helping in the middle because he's helping on the side of the screen. Have an organic system, extremely important. So far, it's possible, but it takes a lot of time, and you have to consider, if you have that time, that you can choose to play on pick and roll. The biggest difference is what you do on ball. If you force to the screen, the ball handler, you can have trap, hard hedge, high flat, drop, switch. And it's very simple to have all these defense. I'm not talking about the skills of your players. That are the thing that, it's the last thing I'm going to say. So let's say that you have players that can do all these things. It's very easy to build a system that you can do all the things. If you want to force baseline and then to have very good team trapping, for example, it will take more time because 2 things are not together. What you do on ball will affect what you do on pick and roll. Very stupid example. Another thing, we all love after timeouts, okay? To be effective on after timeouts, situation where the coach draw plays, it depends on the trust and the confidence they have on you. Because it's enough that 1 player on the bench in that 40 seconds you have doesn't listen to you, or is not crisp in listening, is not ready, that your perfect after timeout will stink. One player late, it's over. So you have to help them. It's a lot easier to be effective after timeout if you are using your system, changing some small angles, instead of a pick and roll, a pin, instead of a back screen, a pin down, because they already saw it. They already played something similar. Because the thing that affects the efficiency of an after timeout is if you run something completely new and you make 1, 2, 3, 4 moves before the key play, the key move, they're going to be so concerned to execute the 4 moves before the key thing because it's something new. And instead of you having something very stupid that they all know to run, and they put their all aggressiveness and great execution and good reads on the key screen, on the key backdoor, on everything. So use your own plays from your playbook in the after timeouts. Okay, very, very important. And this will build great chemistry between you and the players.
Great, thank you, Coach. Okay, there is a Coach Hendrik that has some questions for you.
Please.
So Hendrik, please feel free to make your questions. Hendrik? Hendrik? Okay, if not, there is also Coach Omer who would like to ask you a few questions. So please, Gilmo, turn on his mic, please.
Hi, Coach Andrea. Hi, all.
Hi.
Thanks for having us. It's a great honor for us to sharing ideas with you, learning from one of the best coaches in Europe.
Andrea, thank you very much.
How much time do you spend for opponent team preparation in your practices? Because like as you talk about time management.
Thank you very much. I was hoping that somebody
or do you believe in your system and without making any big adjustment, you run your defensive system? And another question add to this, sorry for disturbing you, but do you work this, if you make these adjustments a lot, do you work in 5-on-5 or just in walkthroughs or shoot-arounds? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I skipped one part, just waiting there somebody asked me this. Pay attention to this, please, very important. One of the greatest advantage of having a very wide playbook is that at the end of the day, you're gonna lose less time, you're gonna win time, preparing other teams' offense in practice, because in your playbook, you're gonna always have at least 80-90% of the plays of the other team. So I focus only in situations that I don't have in my playbook, because I can say they are running our 2-side and we guard this, and we did it every day in practice. And like this is a great advantage, is a great investment of time and hard work to have a wide playbook, but you have advantage not only on offense, you have advantage in preparation because you're winning time. Because if you have 100 of plays, you're gonna have at least 80% of the opponent play. And then it's enough that you work on the 3 plays that are different, 3 options that you don't have. And it's different when you have to prepare a game on 3 plays than instead of 30 plays, for example. Because I never talk with my players about the call of the opponent team. I don't want their focusing on the call, because good coaches will change the call. I'm talking about top pick and roll, side pick and roll, post up, coming off, general things. So my goal is that my player play with instinct, rational instinct, and the rationality is given from practice. This is the most important thing. So I don't prepare a lot. I prepare on key things. because I already prepared without knowing that we were prepared. What was the second question? Yes, after timeout. I coach 5-on-5 with the board. I stop timeout, I call one team, let's do this after timeout. Like this, I prepare my team to learn how to listen in a specific short time, and I prepare the defense to be able to read and react. There was a third one, but I forgot it.
I mean, like I asked how much like this spending time, but I guess you just practice irregular stuff against the opponent. So do you work like 5-on-5 on it, or like you just saw it walk through and shoot around? Or the irregular stuff?
No. I do 5-on-5. If I always try to refresh basic things like 2-on-2. I do a lot. I do every 2-3 days, 8, 12, 10, 12 minutes of 2-on-2 on pick and roll. Because if you're able to guard 2-on-2, you can guard anything, basically. And this is like in the first 30 minutes of the practice, 8, 10 minutes, 2-on-2. And then I do most of the things 5-on-5. When I don't have time, because I played like say Friday and Sunday, it happens, I just do walkthrough.
Thank you, coach. Stay healthy and good luck.
You too.
Okay. Coach Hendrik is really sorry because he has some problems with his mic. So he said, once I heard Coach Trinchieri in a podcast talking about practice before and now, that now in modern basketball time, he has one topic and focus only and totally on that in practice. Could he explain a little bit how he does that? For example, if topic was heading in defense and the podcast was basketball immersion.
I changed a little bit, but I had great result. So basically, today, it was when I had more time, but I had great advantage in going deep. So today we want to talk our pick and roll offense and our pick and roll defense. So whatever I do from 1-0 to 5-on-5 is that topic. The day after, I would do post-up, for example, or coming off, or ISO game, or zone offense. And so 1-0 reads on pick and roll. So big guy, how to roll, how to short roll, how to open the roll. Small guy, jumper, floater, side, engage side, on the side, the big snake move, all this thing. 2-on-0, cooperation, full court. Pocket pass, early pass, jump pass, late delivery, late pass, lob. Then 3-on-3, full court, 3-on-3, fast break, switching everything. So also switching pick and roll. Then 5-on-5, all pick and roll sets with all different defense. Ice, edge, switch, flat, drop, for example. And I saw that the players are like a sponge, but then you need more practices to do whatever you need to do, for example. With the system I'm using now, maybe I'm less detailed, but I do more things. You put the thing on a weight.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Okay. Would you like to answer on questions that Stefano Bizzozero asked a couple of days ago? Do you remember the questions?
So, yes.
Super. Thank you.
It's a very tough transition from youth basketball to pro basketball. It's two different sports. My experience is that we should treat youth basketball as youth basketball and not do something in between. In Partizan, they have one great thing, really. There was a book that former coaches put together on what are the things a young player should know when he goes to practice pro basketball or when it goes to play pro. So you have to know basically double high, floppy, single top pick and roll. And you have to know perfectly this. If you know these three things, you can stay in the practice, offense and defense.
Could you please, sorry, coach, could you repeat those three things?
Double high pick and roll.
Okay.
Offense, defense, single top pick and roll, offense, defense, floppy action. Okay. If a player, 18, 19 years old, knows what we are talking about when we talk about triple switch or edge or like this, on those things, he can successfully make the transition between youth basketball to pro basketball. I don't want to enter in all the things concerning attitude, sacrifice, body language, that to me are very personal and every case different, okay? So when a young player goes at the pro practice, needs to know what we're talking about. And many times I saw players coming and they don't know what we are talking, not what we are doing, what we're talking about, because they have. So I answer with a question, okay? And please, if somebody can answer, I will be very happy. Can you tell me what is the toughest, the hardest role or position to develop in youth basketball of the player? 1, 2, 3, 4, point guard, small forward, 4, 5. What is the most difficult player to develop today, in today's basketball?
Okay.
Nobody has an idea?
Personally, if you ask me, I would answer, my answer would be probably, without thinking so much, the point guard position.
Definitely is the point guard. Because big guy depends on the bodies you have, and doesn't depend on you. And big guys are always late bloomers. But the toughest player to produce in youth basketball is point guard. And this is the biggest problem. Out of 100 guards I can evaluate for my team, 2 are point guards, 98 are guards. Okay? Why? The only way, and the point guard is a player, not that knows how to dribble and how to shoot, because all the guards knows how to dribble, or most of the guards knows how to dribble to shoot. The point guard is a player that can think on the floor and to be a substitute of the coach. And when I say think, he can take care of all the little things, the play calls, because I have a big guy that if he doesn't catch the ball in the first quarter, will not set screens later. So I have to feed him. I have a guard that needs to be involved with coming off. Okay. Yeah. So why you are seeing all these coaches now basically calling every play or every second play? Because there's no players that are able to play like a point guard. They are great players, don't take me wrong. But because youth basketball is not producing these players. Why? And I'm telling you why. Because the only way you can develop a point guard is let him play and build his experience through mistakes. When we coach youth basketball, as we coach pro basketball, trying to win games, you will not let the player make the mistakes. The good mistakes he has to do to improve. I'm not good in coaching young players, youth basketball, because to me, I want to win even if I play with my 12 years old son. So I understood that I had to go pro. But we need teachers. We need coaches that can inspire the development of a point guard. And it's totally different. We don't have the time, and the system is not helping these coaches to develop this player. Because when you coach a youth team, you don't need to win games. You need to win players. You need to build players to give them the tools to be a pro player. But at the end, in youth basketball, there's no money enough. So if you win 2 more games, maybe you're going to have a better contract. And it's normal. I would do the same. So who's smart will give time and a good contract to youth coaches, because we need to develop players. I can develop the last part of the player's career. I can give him minutes, I can provoke him, I can push him. But most of the young players doesn't have the tools to play at that level because they didn't have the time and the right way while they're playing youth basketball. Very, very, I'm very sensitive on this. And there's no point guards. This is the problem.
Okay.
Second question was this stack pick and roll.
Yeah. How is it going to evolve? And
it's evolved that we're going to that now we're playing that less and less because many teams, every team is running one stack pick and roll in their playbook, at least one, and players learn how to play defense just because they are facing that very often. So the evolution will be to hide it in a different situation, to have not a stationary stack pick and roll, but coming from a different action. Because if their defense recognize the play, now with the guard switch and a good communication, they can destroy the play. So you have to do 2 things: hide the play, that situation in a different development, or do it not stationary, coming from a movement where it's very hard to destroy the backstream and to switch, because the old story, but good story: action, offense, reaction, defense. If you're running dynamically, it's harder to establish the right positioning to do what you're supposed to do to stop it.
Yeah, for instance, Žalgiris, they run side stack pick and roll in it's very difficult to play against. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Coach. We have another question. Coach Roberto Assi is asking you, could you tell us a little bit something about different duties and responsibilities inside of your coaching staff? And what's your advice for young assistant coach?
I cannot advise young assistant coach because every coach is different. Every head coach is different. I want assistant coach that can think, they must say what they think, even if it's against what I think. I like to have discussions. I like to even fight about one thing. Every discussion makes us better. So I said, I want to do this. And I love when somebody said, no, I want to do different. At the end is my decision. But this process provokes a deeper analysis in what they're trying to do. I believe that the assistant coach should think like a coach and give you what he would do in that, knowing, of course, if you don't play zone and he comes to you and said, hey, let's play zone. I said, come on, we're wasting our time. But he knows you. He knows that you don't play zone, or that you play zone. And he said, we don't play zone on this situation. Very stupid. Second thing, I want to delegate. I want that they have their own responsibility. They run part of the show, part of practices, players development on a group of player, on a single player. And basically we try to do everything together.
Great. And well, we know that there is Vlado Stjepanovic inside of your coaching staff as your assistant coach. How much is it important for you that you have a former great player inside of your coaching staff who just can feel the game in other way? Like
I was not a player. So basically I can study 24 hours a day, but some things I will never get because I was never in a European final. I was never in Olympic Games. I didn't have the game day of a final of the player, his fears, his strength. So if you are not a former player, always hire a former great player in your staff. It's very, 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 very important. If you are a former player, always hire one player that knows everything about basketball, preparation, a gym rat. I want to call that so many things in practice in a game that can help you. Oh, that coach, I believe you that he's gonna test you on zone after a timeout. You know, because a former player doesn't have this life; he has a different life. So every situation is different. But to me, for my personal experience, having Vlado as a great player, former great player, it's very, very, very important.
Great. Coach, it's been an honor, a great honor for all of us.
Come on, slow down.
I mean, we know that you have another meeting this night, actually. Am I right? So thank you so much. I don't know how to explain what I feel, what I think. It's been a great honor, and all the best.
Thank you. Stay healthy. I wish you all the best. Ciao.